You're good.
Okay, I'd like to welcome our guests, committee members and council to the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting Tuesday, May 16th. And it's 6 o'clock on that clock, so we're good to go. I'll ask first if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll move on to number 2 on the agenda. Adopt the minutes of the meeting held December 20th. So I need a mover and seconder, Councillor Yem and Councillor Kirky. I'll read the motion. It's number COA R 2023-01, moved by Councillor Yem, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we adopt the Committee of Adjustment minutes of December 20th, 2022. All in favor? Thank you all. Carried. We'll move on to number 3, minor variance application A 2023-01, property owner Patricia O'Connor. Okay, this is, and I'll just give you to permit the enlargement of a legal, non-conforming use, single unit dwelling under section 45(1) and 2 of the Planning Act. It's zoned industrial extractive and environmental protection. The proposed application is to permit an addition of 101 square meters to the existing single unit dwelling. Now, the applicant will construct the dwelling in accordance with the sketch received with the application. And we have had John Paul.
There's been no complaints on file from neighbors, and the planning report does come up as a favorable report that it follows all the policies in the Planning Act, and the official plan meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, etc.
And the fact that the legal non-conforming, of course, is because it's at the pit.
Yeah.
And in the future, had that been not there already, it wouldn't happen, because now people are concerned that the people in the particular situation will be uncomfortable by the around.
And then the applicant has got supporting documentation from the Ministry of Natural Resources, the MNRF, and from Muron that runs the pit, that he's okay with it also.
Right, people that own the pit have said they have no problem. So, and of course, MNRF grants all pits licenses, and they have no problem with it as well. So, are there any comments or questions from council, from the board? Okay, what we'll do, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder. Councillor Butler and Councillor Foote. I'll read the resolution in full. It's number COA R 2023-02, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Foote. Application A 2023-01, applicant Patricia O'Connor, decision. And we'll vote on this to grant the requested variance as in accordance with the following: to permit the enlargement of a legal, non-conforming use, single unit dwelling under section 45(1) of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13 as amended. The subject property is zoned industrial extractive MX, rural RU, environmental protection EP. The proposed application is to permit an addition 101 square meters to the existing single unit dwelling that is located in the MX zone. The single unit dwelling is not permitted within the MX zone, and therefore is considered as illegal, non-conforming in the context of the Planning Act. Conditions: that the applicant construct the dwelling in accordance with the sketch received with the application, and We've heard all the information, so I will call a vote. All in favor of passing this? Carried. Do you have to circulate that?
I do.
Okay, John Paul will circulate that. And in the meantime, I know you've seen the other applicant, but if you want to just peruse it while we wait. And then we'll go on to number 4 on the agenda. And again, welcome everyone that's here tonight. You're welcome. I have to wait for this.
Yeah, and this is 20-day appeal period. This is 20-day appeal period before you can apply for your building permit.
Okay, so I'll move on to number 4, consent application C 2023-01, property owner Malcolm Mac Hugo Hoff. Okay, this consent application proposes to sever one new lot from the subject lands for residential use. And I think everybody's got the information on this. There's a plan, a lot size. And it's a consent application. Does any counselor have any questions? Which I will gladly pass on to John Paul or any board member. So on yours, it's the section in black, and then there's the sketch below in red. Now, has there any comment?
There hasn't been any written complaints given to the office.
Okay,
And this one here, there's 2 lots, one's 14.8 acres and one's about 9.88 acres. We circulated to MTO and they didn't have any issues with it, but you do have to take an entrance off Byers Road. So it's conditioned to severance. They will have to get an entrance permit coming off Byers Road for that severance piece. And the retain, that's where the house is. Further up the street towards the village, is that little house there. That's on the retain lot, and the severed lot is the one where we'll have to take the entrance off the Byers.
are there any other questions, comments? Penelope?
Just a question. I noticed that the the entrance requirement is off of Byers Road. Just a question is that because the other option would be coming off 654?
Yes, that's correct, Penelope. That MTO, I believe, likes to put on a secondary street instead of the main highway if there's a tributary available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, not seeing any other questions. I'll ask for a mover and a secondary. Counselor, okay, I'll go again. Counselor,
Question from the group here.
question, yes?
Byers Road has to be upgraded if we're gonna have another more cars on it. Yeah, like, I mean, when we first moved in there, we were the only ones. and now there's 5 houses on it. And that rock cut coming up that hill, it's not wide enough for 2 vehicles in each.
Any comment?
It's only meant for one car, for sure.
Just with the official plan policy though, like to follow the township policy and the official plan, it has to be on a year-round maintained road. And it is.
Year-round maintained road doesn't meet standards for the amount of traffic on the road. Isn't there something to that?
This says it has to be on a year-round maintained road.
So safety doesn't matter there. Even if we need plow truck is ridiculous, like the plow can't even get their blade down.
So after the first people moved in, no one else should have moved in. Would that be the assumption then?
Well, something should have been done, like at the top of the hill, there's time where you're blind, you can't see there's something coming.
Well, before they, I see one of the conditions is that, what is it, entrance permit from the township first, so.
They have to get an entrance permit, and then any section of that road that is going over the gentleman's property, the applicant, has to be transferred to the township to ensure that we get our 33 feet from center line.
Right, so what I'm saying is,
His property's not gonna be affected by that, though. It would be other properties.
his property would be affected by the entrance permit though. If it's not safe,
And if the other people don't get right to the township for taking up that rock there, or like,
they'll never take that rock out. I mean, if they would have, they
okay,
would
or
have.
go the other side where there's not rock, they can fill it in on the other side.
That would be up to the roads department. All we can look at is whether the roads department gives that person an entrance permit, depending on what they consider as the usage and whatever on the road. Question?
I called and had a concern about when 47 was allotted for the driveway to go in. It was called just a concern about where it was at the top of the hill, and they said it was fine.
Or not from the top of the hill.
It's not far on top.
When
of
the sun is in your face coming home, you completely lose that driveway.
But,
So now we're gonna have more vehicles.
but the location is as safe as it could be on top of a hill.
A site visit was performed at that time.
Yes.
And again, I know every time I come out at 6:50 or 5:34 in an afternoon, half the road is obliterated by the sun.
Yeah,
But there's not much we can do about
no, I know
that.
you can't do the sun, but it's,
It's an example.
the
Right.
turnaround at the end isn't a proper turnaround either, so.
Well, we can check that out with the roads department, I'm sure. And hopefully we'll have enough road there to make a proper turnaround. But we'll look at that before we consent consent for an entrance permit. So right now, we're severing the lot, and that's all we're doing, and then consent goes after that. Any other questions for this group? Okay, so we will go back to, and we can always consult with, and we have before with MTO, whether they think that's advisable. But they've always, just in advance, they've always supported it, but perhaps not when they see our concerns.
Mr. Chairman, where the sign is at the moment, and it says 47, is that the approved entrance?
No,
There is no approved
That's
entrance
another
yet.
one.
That's for a different lot altogether.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That has
Good
nothing to do
question.
with this file.
Okay.
okay, so it's number COAR 2023-03. It was moved by Councillor Kirkie, was seconded by Councillor Foote. The application C 2023-01, applicant Mac Hoff, the decision, and we will vote. The consent application proposes to sever one new lot from the subject lands for residential use. The Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment approves consent application 2023-01 by providing provisional consent subject to the following conditions. The conditions are a copy of the reference plan to be deposited in the land registry office that is substantially in compliance with application sketch. The original executed transfers, both duplicate originals and one photocopy per consent, a schedule describing both retained and severed lots, and naming the applicable grantor and grantee attached to the transfers for approval purposes, written confirmation from the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority to demonstrate that there is sufficient and potable water supply and to permit the installation of an adequate means of sewage disposal. E, entrance permit from the township for the severed lot on Byers Road. F, any traveled road situated on the subject property should be transferred to the municipality for road purposes. G, written confirmation sufficient capacity exists for treatment capacity for hauled sewage to the satisfaction of the township. And H, a certificate in the appropriate form prescribed in OREG 19796, Schedule 1, for signature of the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment official, secretary, treasurer, or chairperson. After all that, comment or question? All in favor? Carried. So the gentleman has a severed lot. And that's all. Now, according, right, we got it here. So that's all. In fact, that's the first one since December. So it's adjournment because we have another meeting in 13 minutes. So I need a mover and seconder. Councillor Butler and Councillor Yem, thank you. It's number COAR 2023-04, moved by Councillor Butler, second by Councillor Yem, that the Committee of Adjustment meeting be adjourned at 6:13 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And thank you for coming, and your concerns will be passed on to road super and